Hey, what's up, team? I'd like to share a workaround solution that I came across when trying to create a ticket form within HubSpot. So, in a moment, I'll tell you a little bit more about the details of that limitation within HubSpot and then show you the solution that I came up with. So, to dig in to the HubSpot problem, um, for a little bit of context, our team is implementing HubSpot. We got service enterprise level, and now we're kind of putting the pieces together. So we have three different teams that are going to need ticket pipelines or a way to create tickets. And one of the things that just blew my mind is that HubSpot doesn't have a way to create multiple ticket forms, which to me is just wild. And not only that, it doesn't give you the ability to nest or create dependencies based off of options within a form. So, for instance, imagine like a problem or a question that gives you like nested options, and then you want to create like dependency or options dependent on whatever item you selected. Well, HubSpot doesn't let you do that. It just gives you like one level of nested options. And now for us, that makes a lot of things quite hard because we are dealing with a bunch of different variables in the selling process. So to get around this issue, and I kind of found out the hard way, um, to get around this issue, I'm using Typebot as kind of like the intake form for the tickets. And the good thing about Typebot is that it lets you do API calls. So in a moment, I'm going to show you kind of like the first piece of it, of how I'm putting together the APIs to kind of kick off the ticket intake form. And then how I just kind of like put an MVP using Zapier. And hopefully the plan is to, now that I proved the concept, is to actually sidesteps Zapier and use the API connections from within Typebot. So before I jump into the APIs and how they work, maybe it's better if I show you kind of like that first step of what it looks like from within the Typebot itself, the actual chatbot. So if I put in a contact that's already in HubSpot, so it says here, enter the email for the contact you want to create a ticket for. So this is a test record from within HubSpot, and the API in the background is grabbing the email and then locating that record and returning these fields that are attached to that record. And then from there, the salesperson or whoever's creating the ticket or requesting the ticket can kind of continue on and fill out the rest of the questions. So let me pop back over to Typebot and then dig into the post calls. So if I scroll up here, you can see there's this post block, and we are making a call to this API URL. So it's the version 3 contact object search. Now let me pause here for a second because it's worth noting that if you are going into the HubSpot documentation or the API documentation specifically, there's 4 different versions of the API docs. 4. So I found it kind of difficult or a bit confusing trying to figure out, which ways or which methods are the ones that I should be using. So in this case, version 3 happened to work for me. And then what I'm trying to do here is just try to locate the email that I passed in to then pull these properties, the first name, last name, company, job title, and phone. And one thing that you may have picked up, probably not, but there's a website value that I pick up, and that's just some JavaScript that parses through the email address of the person that you kind of put into the field input. But I digress, and going back to the JSON body here, you can see what it looks like. So to recap it in just a couple seconds, here's the API URL that you use. It's a post method that you apply. You put in your header, so you have to do your, your authorization bearer token plus the content type of application JSON. And then in the JSON body, this is what you pass in order to pull these properties that you see right here. All right, moving on to the next part of the API call. So this is how you would retrieve information from within a contact record. So let's say, for example, you put in the email address, but then there's only the first name included in the contact record. And you need to provide, like the last name, the company name, the job title of the contact, and so forth. So what I've done here is to check, and this is with Typebot, right? So I check to see if these values are empty, and if they are, then I ask for the information. And then once I get the information, like first name, last name, company name, job title, and phone, then I push that information over to the contact record in HubSpot. So to see what that looks like, let's open this up. And then this time we're using version 1 of the API. And here you can kind of see the URL structure. So we're passing in the email, and then the headers are the same. So it's the authorization bearer token with the content type of application JSON. And then in the body, it looks like this. So it passes in the first name, last name, company, job title, website, and phone. Now, as a little side quest or a bonus, however you want to look at it, let's have a look at the website. It's a really easy JS script where we're pretty much just returning the value of whatever split. So we use the split method on that email string, and we just pretty much take the right side of the email address. Now, this isn't 100% safe proof or foolproof, rather. So, for example, I passed in a Gmail, so that's probably not going to work, right? But in most cases, if you're dealing with work business emails, then it should be fine. All right, so that's what I have so far. For the end of this chatbot sequence, you can kind of see it's a bit of a monster. And it has 35 properties, in case you were wondering. So at the end of this, what I'm doing is I'm pushing this information over to a Google Sheet. And then once a new row is inserted into Google Sheet, it then triggers a Zap within my Zapier account. And if you've made it this far into the video, then you deserve to see what the Zap actually looks like in the Zapier account. So this is it. I'm not going to go into the details, but at a high level, this is what it looks like. So a new row gets added to that Google Sheet, and then I create a new ticket, and then pass in, a variety or an assortment of those 35 different properties that I collect in that chatbot using Typebot. And then I associate that ticket with the contact record in HubSpot so that our support team can see the ticket with the contact that they can just kind of, dig in and get more information if they need it. So I'll be looking at how Zapier kind of uses the different properties or the different values and then try to reverse engineer it to then recreate it over in Typebot. And the reason I want to do that is because we're probably going to use up our allotment of tasks for the month rather quickly. So really what I was trying to do is just get like an MVP off the ground. I've already used up quite a bit of time coming across these obstacles with the ticket form in HubSpot, not being able to nest dependencies within options in the ticket form, which is a bummer. I hope they fix that soon. And now we have something that could work. And then I'll be moving the zaps over to Typebot using the API endpoints. Anyways, for the 0.001% of you out there that might find this useful at some point, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value from it, and I'll see you in the next video.